can come to you if you need to.
What is it stuck on?
I'm gonna pull out. There you go. Another random day doing random things on a random channel. Yeah, it should just be random Joe builds instead of average Joe builds. But we're back doing some stuff on the K30 today. Yesterday we did get a video out on the S10, which actually didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. The wastegate dumps turned out great. I'm actually really happy with those, but the whole gas tank situation wasn't so happy with. So as I get whitewashed by the sun here, wastegate's phenomenal. This situation, oh sick, someone blasting Reveler on a dirt bike somewhere. Did I just make a new friend? Yeah, so I don't know why a brand new fuel cell, well actually I know why, it's eBay or Amazon, so that's why. But it's like, you know, 6-month-old fuel cell and it's leaking out of the top. Pretty sure we got gas mixed with water, and that's why it was all funny. But I mean, it runs, it was actually fueling fine. I just know I'm not boosting on that, so before I continue a bunch of the other things, I'm gonna be draining all the fuel out. But yeah, that's just a ramble. Like I said, today is K30 day. I need to get the front end back on my truck. It is killing me not to have the front end on my truck, and it's actually killing me to hear this guy on this dirt bike out ripping around somewhere. I'm jealous. I need to get a dirt bike. Yep, today I need to get the front end situated on this guy. One of the things I need to do is trim this pocket opening for the radiator so the radiator doesn't have this kink in it. We'll get that done real quick. So figuring out the cooling stack, like I was saying, Lb7 stock radiator and intercooler. I'm gonna probably just go ahead and yank these boots off so I can clean them up real quick, and then I've been fighting moving the radiator and intercooler around so much, I'm just gonna separate them. They're just bolted together in 4 spots real quick. So I'll pop the 2 units apart and we'll just focus on mounting the intercooler for now, and then we'll worry about the radiator, because the radiator mounts to the intercooler, so it's less of a big deal to worry about the radiator. Plan of attack is basically start chopping away what doesn't need to be there. We saw in the previous clips, I did go through and mock some of this up, trim out some of the lower piece to see how it fit. I did trim some of this inner fender and trim some of this inner fender. Obviously this is all rough cut, none of this is finalized yet. I have ran and grabbed just some square tube, and then I got some pieces chopped up to weld to the bottom so we can brace it, because before I cut the center of it out, I want to do some sort of brace so it doesn't tweak or twist, and then when I go to bolt it all back on, I can't get a core support bolt in, or a fender bolt doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't want none of that. So we'll go ahead and brace it all up first. We'll separate that out, and then we'll probably do the choppy, but instead of talking about it, let's get to it. Sounds like a better plan. Yeah, let's do it to it. I need more coffee. That's what I need. Coffee. So, as usual, talk, that's all I do, right? Not a lot of work, more talk. Which is just average Joe talks. TED Talk, Joe Talk, something like that. But we got the GoPro hanging up from the ceiling, getting some little quickie shots of the braces already done. And on this side, actually I have to walk around. I need to shop so bad. But I did get one upright. Here, let me get this out of the way. I got one upright tossed in. This is just tacked into place, obviously. A nice little spot for a sweet little clean bead. Fit up in there nice. And I think I'm actually going to, on the opposite side, so on this side, how you doing? I'm gonna trim a little more close to that. This is just one of those, as we were building, changing the plans. I had made some upright cuts there where I was initially planning to do it, but worst case I can come through and I can cut this out with like the Sawzall. I'll just like trim this up and over and get that piece out. But we're gonna leave the top and then we're just gonna go with the bottom. With the bottom. And then with this structure being left open, obviously, because how it's like a C shape, or you know, like a hash, whatever shape it is, we'll close it in, new bar across, and then I'm going to make some little locator pieces real quick, but I just wanted to show you guys a little update. I'm gonna knock out this piece real fast, throw that upright in, and then we'll probably start cutting this whole front structure out, which is terrifying because I'm ruining my nice perfect truck. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm definitely one of those do it and explain it afterwards guys. We'll figure YouTube out together, you and me. We'll do this. Let's hold hands. Man, making it look like you know what you're doing and actually knowing what you're doing, those are just two separate things entirely. So I have ideas, but I'm not saying they're the greatest or they're gonna work, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. So far, like I said, we have our uprights in. We saw that, got that one in. Everything is looking. It's not gonna wanna focus on the level. Why do I even think it's gonna wanna focus on the level? Okay, you're gonna have to take my word that it's level, but it's level. Yeah, so, I mean, realistically, there's nothing left to do but cut it straight off. Cut it straight off. I'm so nervous to do that, but okay, so this is part of what I was saying of knowing what you're doing and actually knowing what you're doing. So, I have a 3-inch body lift on the truck. It utilizes these little guys down here. They're plastic, I don't like that. So I made, it's not gonna focus on this either because it hates me, but yeah. So these are just some quick little 120 wall DOM pieces. They're like 1 3/4 inch tube that were 120 wall. And then I just welded a body washer, a thick ass washer on top of. Just TIG welded it on real quick. And actually we'll get on this other side so we can see this together. Man, I'm such a good YouTuber. I don't understand why I don't have thousands of subscribers. Yeah, so the plan is here. Let's see, get this down. This goes under there. Ends up about 1/4 inch below it, just a little less. And obviously, big bolt just goes straight down through there. Since I'm gonna be cutting this off, capping that, the plan, while I itch my face, is cap it, obviously, replace with tube, but then I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna delete those little plastic guys. I made these a little bit taller so they can go right there. Obviously it leaves a little extra exposed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sink that up into those. So obviously, like I said, I'm a better doer than explainer. It's not even English. Sometimes I'm just stupid. But yeah, I'm gonna cut this, obviously, so then I can weld. Probably better to show you guys that way. Cut it like that so we can then weld that in. And then, yeah, that will be the body mount side of it. If it's not doing the intercooler side, that will still need its own little peg holes, and then we'll triangulate, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's take this Sawzall and cut the front end of my truck out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's cut it.
not actually that dirty. I just feel, you know, when you've been grinding and cutting forever and you're just covered in all that dust and just crap, just that metal shaving-y feeling of just, you feel it in your teeth, you feel it in your hair, but progress. I mean, it's happening. I'm not 100%, you know, certain on this yet. It's still obviously a rough cut. Everything is just getting mocked up and finalized as we're doing this. I do think with the way these land, let's see, get back here, the way I'll end up doing something about this. I'll end up cutting this down or something to, I don't know, give it a little more aesthetic appeal. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm pretty happy so far. With the brace, there was a hole there, so I'll be able to get a little rosette weld and then up over. Obviously, I will plate up on the inside of that. This side, I'm gonna trim a little more, but then same thing. I made a hole on this side, so rosette weld and then plate back. But yeah, I think we'll come in and trim that a little more. Since I'm one of those people, I'm not hiding anything. I made these, obviously. I did not account for the fact that this now is taller than the other one was. Because the other one was flat and had the hole there, this needs to... So what I'm saying is these are about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch too short. But silver lining always. I mean, I would just set these on the shelf and keep them for something else. Since I got the intercooler, I keep saying radiator. Since I got the intercooler so tucked in, I can actually utilize this. Let's see, just enough length for a nice little scallop, and set that in there. And then I'll be able to toss a bolt through there. Ta-da. Did not waste that. And me being me, I got 10,000 replacements of tube and washers to fix that. So we'll just cut 2 longer ones. And then, before I go ahead and weld this one, that's why I left this loose right now, was I don't want to try and figure out the cut with it all in place, because I see that being a pain in my ass. So yeah, I'm gonna cut 2 more of those, TIG weld on 2 more washers real quick, and then I think we're getting there. Obviously right now I'm just doing the body mount side. I still have to come through and figure out, the pegs are way down here. So obviously something will come down and attach there. I just need to figure out the support and the body mount side first, then dive into actually how the intercooler will mount, and then thankfully radiator just attaches to the face of the intercooler with some bolts. So actually I threw those where? Over here? Yep. Little brackets and stuff. They just attach that way. So I can, and I know already, checked measurements and everything like that, the way it mounted previously, the radiator was thicker and had plenty of space. So this thin little radiator should have a lot of room actually. And then I still obviously, like I said, have to trim this little pocket to get this kink out. And then, I mean, look at that. Course bore mount is here. Fin is way back here. Actually, I have some real estate for a shroud. It's gonna be nice. You know what that means. But before I do any welding, we're gonna do GoPro stuff with that real quick. I just wanted to toss it in place, show you guys the center is lined up. Hole, hole, boop. Grab one of these. Oh, no, because those are the short ones. We're getting the tall ones. Sitting there like, where did I put them? Okay. Just gives it enough meat. It's a little more, no it's not. When I tilt it the right way, there we go. When I tilt it the right way, just enough meat. Right? That's what she said.
That's what she said!
But that will go in there. Same. We know what we're doing. That. And then we'll start working on actually getting the posts figured out to mount the intercooler down and in. We'll trim up some of this top stuff a little bit more too. And then however we clean that up, that'll be for a later time and stuff. But I'm just trying to get the intercooler and radiator mocked up and figured out so then I can test fit the front end
back on there because I miss looking at my truck. I want to see my truck again. So yeah, let's get the front end back into use. Sounds like a good idea. It is day, I don't even know what day it is of this fiasco of getting the cooling stack and front end, I guess, resituated back onto the truck. I think it's day 3 of doing this, I'm not sure. Where we left off, obviously this was in. Did snag an older piece from one of the spare 66s. Not gonna actually use that piece. Messing around, I don't know, last night, it's kind of why I ended filming last night early, was I was just having a really bad fabricator's block or whatever you want to call it. I just couldn't figure out how to make the lower mounts. So we got these, obviously a little bit more smooth in there. We'll get everything cleaned up, but more or less what I was trying to figure out, it's gonna be really hard to hear. Let's see if I can just set you guys like this. Haha. So we got the cab mount here. Underneath that, over here, on 2 separate planes, with this being here, this being up here, this is the intercooler mount. Took a piece of TIG rod actually, and I don't know if this, it's funny, I don't know if this side, being on the driver's, or this is the passenger side. I made this for the driver's side, so, wait, why don't we just move the welder. Got one of those, work smarter, not harder? Yeah. We're back over here, cab mount, intercooler mount. See? And then we're gonna take this guy, and basically what I did, I took a piece of TIG rod and I bent it in the shape that I was thinking, and then that will capture. And then how did I have this? Oh, I had it up like that. So what I'm thinking, if we're gonna be able to see this, is it's gonna come down off the existing mount, because that up there, hi guys, that's the actual core support mount. You see that the ends are touching, and then they come down, they wrap around, and it comes back up. And then I have a little plan to make that kind of cool. It's really hard to explain because, like I've said a million times, I'm more of a doer than an explainer. So let's do some, I don't know, quick YouTube magic and make one of those out of some round stock. Yeah, made one out of just some round stock. Nothing fancy. Looks like a weird shape, but you'll see kind of what I'm planning here now. But this guy fits. Let me flip the camera down so I can see. But we're looking, this is still just a support. It will come out once we get a little more shape in here. But if you look down in that pocket, see how it's rounded? Oop, gotta fit it up here like this. But we get it wrapped. Wraps around there, and then I'm thinking nice little sheet metal holding between there. Let's just make the piece instead of trying to hold a camera and sometimes I wish I had a third arm instead of a third leg, but it is what it is.
Years later.
Of course, in the middle of work, GoPro just says, "Nah, sorry, dude, you don't need to film." So I don't even know where we last left off. It's dark. That's a thing. So yeah, obviously working into the night, I guess, but it's coming along. I'm no professional. I'm no master fabricator, obviously. Average Joe, not professional Joe, but I'm actually pretty stoked at this. This is all rough. I have to go through and grind everything, smooth it, and get it ready for paint and all that stuff, but I'm pretty stoked on that. I may actually
like scallop the top. I was actually kind of thinking about that, but check that out. There's a bolt actually holding that in. It matches the angle, and let's see. I can shake the whole front end. I haven't even done this side yet. But down here, these little mounts are just made out of that round tube, or that solid stock I mean, and this side has a little bit of sheet metal. You can't even see it. I'm like laying on my belly. That side has some sheet metal. I'm gonna throw a dimple die on both of those. I'm gonna throw more sheet metal around it too to brace it, but yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of a gap that, let's see if it will focus. There's a little bit of a gap I gotta come through here and fill up from a misjudge because I let it sink more on this side. That side I'll be able to weld no problem, but yeah, it just tucks under there. It's perfectly level. And like I said, chop it in, drop it down, ta-da. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm not thrilled on having to cut the front end. I would have loved to have been able to just buy the precision fabrication cooling stack kit and just drop in the whole front end and been done, but that's like $3,400 for an intercooler and radiator. As much as I would love to spend that, because that is some of the best fabrication and craftsmanship I've ever seen from Robert and Precision Fabrication. It drops right in, it just bolts in. I highly recommend you do that if you have the possibility and the, you know, the funds. I can't, so stock stuff it is. Plus for me the benefit is if anything ever went wrong, I'm just replacing a stock Lb7 intercooler and radiator versus having to replace a very expensive set. But I'm gonna keep diving in. We're gonna get the GoPro battery fixed, thrown back in, and we'll get a test fit, I guess, of the radiator, and then start chopping more on the other side, get the other side done. And lots of blending and blah blah blah. Before any of that though, we're gonna probably end the video out with a test fit of the front end. Most likely tomorrow. I'm so tired. I'm just getting my ass kicked by this, but I'm actually pretty stoked on the outcome so far. Not gonna lie. I gotta do a little bit more blending, obviously. A little more. I didn't even really start the side yet. I think I'm gonna come through with a file. And then obviously these bolts are just, this one I could actually use. I'll probably get all new hardware though. Fingered, that didn't sound good. Can put the bolts in and tighten them with my hands. And what do you know? Now the radiator is on the intercooler. And check this out. You can't really see that, right? I'll shake the whole front end. It's not going anywhere. Pretty stoked. Check this out from the front. What I noticed is I did end up cleaning these edges, and I opened them up a little, tack welded it in a couple places that I'll clean, and obviously it will get painted. But dude, and I even threw in the stock hood support brace that I just need to push that up like that. And I need to drill it out and like a nut cert probably. I think that's what we'll do. The nut cert, make sure it's nice and straight. Ta-da! Look at that. Just enough clearance. Obviously, this isn't 100% done. I still want to go through and pull the whole front back apart real quick, and I want to pressure wash all of this nasty off, and I want to pressure wash the inner fenders, and then get everything ready for a quick paint job. But I can't paint the inner fenders because I know I have to cut them for the coilovers. So more or less this is to put this on so I understand what I got to cut for that. There's just so much, there's so much little stuff left, and then like one or two big things left, and then the truck will be ready, or drivable at least. So coilover mounts and getting the front end back on are the huge things, and then it's just wiring, fuel. Oh, I'm gonna stop talking before I get overwhelmed. So yeah, I think we're gonna wait until in the morning, and then we'll slam this front end on, do a quick mock-up, drop the bolts through the core support, and just make sure that everything lines up still. Maybe throw a bolt into the cab or something, and then see how the radiator hoses line up and everything. Don't let me forget, I gotta cut that little pocket right there for the radiator hose, get that kink out. But we'll do some YouTube magic, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Well, that's the next morning for you. Barely awake, got the hair all, you know, raccoon messy and look like a rooster on my head, but we're making progress today. Threw in a quick nut cert and stuff like that. I'll throw the footage in just a second of nut cert, and then we just went through and knocked some quick dimple dies. into both of the little plates. Not necessarily, you know, I'm not mad at how they came out. I'm not thrilled at how they came out either. How they turned out. Clearly I need more coffee and some Rice Krispie treats. But before we test fit it, I do want to throw on a little piece of sheet metal there. And same on this side, tiny little piece. I may actually throw up a little piece there because this side I can actually weld the gap pretty close. This side I cannot. A little bit of overestimation on my trimming there, but I think we're going to trim up a little bit of stuff, clean this up, maybe real quick throw on the sheet metal for that, but this is just gonna be a test fit, obviously. I just want to get the front end situated back there. Oh, and you guys said you wouldn't let me forget, so thanks. I gotta do that real fast. Got a little hoopty-haw here just to connect it down to that hole, because then that won't have such a radical bend in it. So quick little things, and then we'll get the front end on and see really what this truck is starting to look like. So that's a little bit of progress. I mean, it's nothing major. I'm knocking stuff over as I'm walking. It's the usual. We got everything attached. We got the nutsert, that's there. We got those welded in. Nothing fancy. Nice little blend on those, which I may cut these back to like a radius, like down just a little bit, but I may not. I haven't really decided on that yet. This is just still gonna be a mock-up of just front end up there. See what it looks like, roll the wheels under it, take a thumbnail for the end of the video, etc., etc. But mainly it's just making sure that this clearance equals what we need to on the fan, because I'd hate to throw everything up there now that I've gotten it all together and it doesn't fit. But I've taken some measurements, seems like what should work. The only worst case scenario that I'm seeing so far is the height of the new pucks may be a little bit short, but I think I made them what I wanted to be short, a washer thickness. So like a body washer thickness. I hope I didn't make them too short, but the measurements should have equaled like a body washer because I'd rather shim a little than have too tall or etc. So now I'm just trying to like not fall over stuff because stuff's everywhere, and that will be a big thing, is getting the front end back out onto the truck for the time being, getting to clean all of this mess up, open some stuff I gotta open over there for some other videos, etc. That guy's having fun on a moped just ripping back and forth, so I'm gonna do what he's doing and get back to work. Holy crap. It looks like a truck again. Ignore the fact that the diff needs to come over this way and the wheels are slightly turned, but screwdrivers obviously as bolts because somebody's an idiot, this guy, and for some reason thought these bolts were still going to be the exact length that I needed. No, they're way long. They come like, I mean, I can actually put a nut and a bunch of washers on them, but yeah, I don't think so. For now, we're gonna probably end up replacing all the hardware anyway, so why not just get new ones for that? Pretty stoked. What in the fuck am I building? A damn monster truck. But as I'm gonna start cleaning up, we're going to hope that I don't drop my GoPro on the ground because the stupid legs on that tripod, but check out some of the fitment on this thing. Actually, I'm gonna get the hood propped up, then we'll check out the fitment.
Who's a genius?
This guy. And by genius, I mean I just used the stock hood supports because that seemed like a great idea to hold the hood up. I mean, genius, right? But look at that fitment. Stock radiator hose. This is a power steering cooler that I may delete. It's been on the Hydro Boost since I had it, and obviously I'm going to be redoing the master. But none of that is important just yet. It stopped with that master, so I can stop with that master again. Checking out some of the was the tightest fitment through there, which I probably will do a vintage air down the road, flatten all that off. I'm stoked. Just enough clearance to get your hand through. This fits all like a factory Lb7 would, which is perfect. Just enough hood clearance. And obviously a reroute of these power steering lines. I think actually whoever put them on had swung the bends the wrong way when they tightened them down. So I think I'll just loosen them, pivot them back, and then intercooler comes up. We got, oh yeah, lower rad hose on the other side. Still getting used to Duramax stuff. Lower rad hose right there goes right on. It just has a squeezy clamp, so I can't fit it on right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys. Obviously, some grinding and cleaning up is in order on a couple little odds and ends. I just want to make them a little more perfect. You know, I mean, those aren't the worst welds, but they're not the best. You just got to go through and clean some of that up. Obviously, get some actual hardware for everything. The hood closes. That's a big thing. Man, I have a truck again. What? And then the body lines are money. Look at that. And obviously nothing is bolted up, shimmed, anything. Everything is just loosely set. Let's give you an overview of this guy. I'm just so stoked. Whoa. And of course the neighbor thinks now is the time to come out and start weed whacking and mowing. So with that, I'm actually gonna run downstairs. We got a bunch of goodies. I gotta open up some new tools and some odds and ends like that. But the main thing is we have the front end on. I can throw the transfer case on. I can throw the 1410 yoke conversion on, measure for the drive line. Rear drive line can be made, and we have the stock 1410 U-joint and yokes to go, you know, make a drive line, cut one down, whatever. I might have a whole new one made. I'm not quite sure. I'm just rambling at this point because I got a bunch of stuff I gotta do. I gotta get all the radius arm stuff and the knuckle stuff ready, which means more sandblasting, more powder coating, and more stuff for a different video. If you like what you saw, I mean, it's an Lb7 cooling stack and a square body. Damn well you better have liked that. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Average Joe Builds, out.